So what's up, guys? So we're here today to talk to Diana, hear her share her story, do a one-on-one coaching with her. She's been working out about 7 years. She's really accomplished what she wanted to when it comes to her fitness, getting stronger, living a longer, healthier life. Today, we're going to just focus on what she wants to do now, what her next steps are, and where she wants to go. So welcome, Diana. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So the first thing I want to start with today is going into what your why is, right? Your physical goal. What do you get out of that?
Feeling much better, being healthy.
Okay. Feel better, be healthy. So let's write that real quick.
Energy.
There you go. Healthy. Energy. Okay. So if you feel better, feel more healthy, is that right? Feel, and get more energy. Okay. What do you get out of that? What do you feel from that?
What do I feel, or the actual? Yeah. So keeping my weight down.
Okay. So that would go back to kind of our goal. So it sounds like your goal would be keeping your weight down?
Yeah.
Okay. So weight down. All right, right's better there. Good. So weight down. So we'll just say goal right here, and then we'll keep doing Y over here. Okay. So we'll just say Y is there, and then we'll go. Okay. So weight down. What else does that get you up here? What do you actually get out of that? What do you feel? What would you feel if you were able to get your weight down?
Thinner.
Okay. There you go. Okay. So that's fine.
My clothes would fit better.
Okay. Clothes fit better. Okay. Good.
Just overall health and keeping your blood work in the right.
Okay. So very good. Blood work. So as far as like health parameters, you were sharing something a little bit earlier. What was that within the health parameters? Blood work and?
Glucose and osteopenia.
There you go. Excellent. Glucose, osteopenia. Okay. So let's say one day you put on your clothes, you're looking in the mirror, and you're liking how those clothes are fitting. What do you feel in that moment?
Okay. So what's the right word? You feel more, yourself is more, I can't think of the right word. When you feel
esteem.
Yeah, self-esteem. You feel more confident.
There we go. Okay, so it's confident. Confident. Okay, yes. Great.
You feel good about yourself when you're confident, healthy, and your weight is right, and your clothes fit good. So we're making that connection now, right? You see those words you rattled off that were in between your goal and there. Confident. Feel good about yourself when your clothes fit. Right? You feel better when your weight is down. Blood, and you're also doing this for better blood work, glucose, right, and for osteopenia. Right, to stave off osteoporosis and keep those bone mineral density numbers in check. Right. So going back to our why, right? Feel more confident, feel good about yourself. So can we go any deeper there? What else do you feel in that moment? What else do you feel? You feel like your weight is in line, or you feel like those clothes are fitting. You can conquer anything.
There we go. I love it, Diana. We really had to dive deep and peel those, right? So conquer anything. I love it. Okay, I'm going to underline that one, okay? Because that is deep right there. I feel like you can conquer anything. Let's go back to our goal now. We've got our why. Let's go back down to our goal, right? So it's weight down, clothes fit, right? We've got some health parameters here, blood work, glucose, osteopenia. If we were to take those finite things and say, okay, let's make them more finite, right? So what would the goal be, right, with where you're at? If it's weight down or clothes fit, what stands out to you as what you'd like to accomplish?
Maybe a little more muscle definition. Is that, are you talking that?
Yeah, definitely. So let's write muscle definition here. So muscle definition. Okay, cool. So we got muscle definition added into there. So how would we put that into a number, right? How can we make these things into numbers?
I don't know. To numbers? Yeah. Well, you mean like logging it and putting it all in a...
So let's say clothes fit, right? So I know my shorts are... So all these different things resonate differently with people. That's why I'm kind of asking, okay, what's the most important thing to you? What's going to make you feel like you can conquer anything? Is it a certain number on the scale, right? So I found coaching a lot of people, a lot of the guys that I recently did liked to, they wanted to get back down to their high school weight, right? So it was their number in their head that they had, right? So is it a weight number that's really important to you? Is it the way your clothes fit? Is it like a certain size of, pants or shirt or dress, or just like when we did the InBody, is it a number on that muscle, right? Or is it just how it looks? So what really stands out to you? How can we make this into a number goal?
The weight.
Okay.
Weight number.
Okay.
The InBody.
Okay. InBody with
the InBody that always kind of stays the same for me, but.
Okay.
And what was the other thing? Weight. And then the making sure my glucose goes down, and the numbers in your blood work. Those would be numbers.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So seeing those numbers, right?
Right.
Let's kind of bring those to life. So if it was weight, do you have a number in mind that you would like to lose?
10 more pounds.
Okay. 10 pounds. Very good. Okay. So 10 pounds. Okay. And then is that the most important thing on this board to you when it comes to these goals? Not necessarily like I understand like health and longevity. Those are really important, right? But, it sounds like you're doing all of those things to accomplish that, right? Yeah. So when it comes to really what you want to do, a certain way your clothes fit feel better. I'm just checking to make sure. I
think for me, because I've been doing this for so long, and I kind of have stayed similar, and I get a little weight gain, and then I lose a little. I guess tweak what I'm doing back to the more healthy aspect of the diet and the weight loss and the health numbers. Okay, so it's tweaking. So I'm going to write this over here because I think is going to come into play a little bit later. So tweak what are doing. Tweak what we're doing. Cool. Okay, so if it's 10 pounds, then we're good with that number? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if it's 10 pounds, right, in general, I know that we've talked about this in the past, but in general, right, with normal weight loss over time, it's going to be 1 to 2 pounds a week, right? Mm-hmm. And so if it's 2 pounds, that's kind of at the high end, right, over time. So a lot of times when people start something, sometimes they will, especially if they haven't done anything, right, they're going to have a ton of weight loss like right away, right? Mm-hmm. Or a lot of times, maybe in your case, right, who people have done stuff for a long time, they may not see that appreciable difference, right? Because you're already much closer to your goal than somebody who's really far away. Somebody who has done nothing with their nutrition and nothing with their fitness, right? They can almost just like look at the right food or look at a set of dumbbells and they're going to change something, right? Right. Because they haven't done that, right? But since you're so much closer, you're probably not going to see like that quick, appreciable, like boom, that hit, right? Right. So really over time, 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss is normal. So when we look at that in a week, right? So in general, 1 pound of weight loss, fat loss, what we're really talking about, right, is 3,500 calories. And so if you broke that 3,500 calories into a day, that would go down to 500 calories per day, right? Would give you 1 pound of weight loss per week, right? And that's not perfect. There's a lot of different reasons our body will change, right? Right. And weight will go up and down. So, the scale is a proxy there, right? But you mentioned earlier that InBody is the best thing to use because then you can actually see much, much better what's muscle tissue, what's fat tissue, right? Where are we at? And then use the scale as a proxy in between. Really, this would take you 10 weeks if it was 500 calorie deficit a day, because that would be 1 pound per week, just about, right? 20 weeks would be like 250, which is fine. It can take that amount of time. It's not a big deal how long that takes, right? If you're committed to that's what you want to do, 10 weeks to do, right? So 10 weeks. So let's write that there. Okay, so do you track your food currently? Yes, I have been. Okay. Not faithfully, but I have been tracking it. Well, you've been pretty faithful, and that's good. And you know what? Most of the battle there is just showing up, because what happens when you track your food is you start to learn what information you're giving your body to do something, right? And the more you can learn about that, the more you make that connection. And okay, did I get closer to my goal or further away from my goal? Do I feel better about, how the steps I took closer to get to my why here today? The more that your mind changes, your mindset changes into, okay, this is what I want to do. What you don't want to do, your mind says, I don't really want to do that, right? Those things change. And so that really helps you there, right? You're right. I've done it enough so far that you're right about the mindset. Yeah. And it just kind of gradually changes and you see the light. You see what's going on with your food or what you're doing. And you start to connect the dots, right? And yes. I'm getting closer. Okay, this is actually what I really want to do. But when you don't think about it and there's, your mind is almost separated from the why and from the goal more, you just kind of feel bad. You don't ever make that connection into changing what you really want to do, right? Because what you really want to do is whatever's in the moment that's going to make whatever you feel good, right? But the more you connect to that why, that's why I really love getting to that why for you, which is conquer anything, right? Because that's going to help you. That's going to help you big time. Let's go energy in, energy out. Let's look at that equation right now. Okay, so energy out for you. I know that you share, so you work out 3 days a week, okay? And then you're adding some on top of that. I know sometimes on the weekends, you'll add another workout in, right? Another training workout. And then, and I'm just talking about like in the gym weight training, not your cardio sessions, right? Oh, okay. Other times you'll add in some cardio stuff to that, right, too? Right. So will you describe that to us real quick? Mostly I walk for my extra cardio. I've been doing, I call them my hike walks because they're part on the sidewalk and part out in the desert. I live where it's hilly. Yeah. I feel like I can burn some extra cardio doing that. Okay. I walk where it's flat too. So I do some walking. I used to run, but walking is better somehow right now. I need to get into, I set up my bike on a trainer in the house so that I can ride in Switzerland, burn extra calories. I play golf. I don't know if you can call that exercise, but I try to
that's exercise. Come on.
Jump off the cart and run, run to my ball. And then I go to the gym.
Depends how well you're hitting that day.
Yeah.
How far you got to run to your ball, right?
Right.
Or run through the rough and the bushes.
My golf partner's over on one side and I'm on the other. Summer when it gets hot, I swim sometimes. So I try to add in a lot of extra cardio.
So let's write that down real quick. I want to write energy out, and then write some of that down so we can kind of look at the equation. Train 3x per week. We do walking. How many days a week would you say you're walking right now?
3 or 4 days.
Okay.
3 to 4 days.
And then golf?
Once a week.
Once a week. Mm-hmm. Golf.
And then an extra day at the gym, either like on the rower or a bike or something.
Right. And is that also kind of like including like the one at your house where you're biking on the...
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Make it all that.
Okay. So like within the week, you're hitting 3 times per week in the gym. You're walking 3 to 4 times, right? Getting a lot of great low level cardio, right? You're burning calories that way too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you're golfing one time a week, burning calories, right? Getting some low level cardio. And then one time a week, you're either rowing or biking in the gym. Okay.
Yeah. At least once. Yeah.
Okay. So does that kind of summarize everything?
Yeah, it does. Okay. And it makes me think I have to keep on doing that now that I said it.
So, hey, well, that's accountability, right? How can you be accountable to that? When I look at that energy out right there for you, that's really good, right? Because that's 3 hours a week in the gym. You're getting, how long do you row and bike here? 40 minutes, 20 minutes, hour?
Half an hour, 40 minutes.
Good. So that's another 30 minutes. Are you going pretty
I make it a workout.
Okay,
make it a workout.
So that's more of a vigorous pace there. That's really good to get that in. That increases your ROI on what you're getting out of that for your health, right? For your calories, everything, right? If that is vigorous for that amount of time. It also reduces the amount of time that you're having to put in to get your result, right?
Right.
So that's really good. Now, not everything needs to be vigorous. We need to recover from exercise too, but it's good to have that in. It's good for health and it's good for your goals. Way better ROI, right? So then you've got your low level, or lower intensity, longer, right? Higher intensity. So that's good. When I look at that energy out for you, that's awesome. If I saw somebody come in, anybody else came in and did that, I'd be like, you're great. What do I need to change there?
Well, tweak the food.
Okay. So energy inside, right? That's where we need to focus. Or we just shared you're tracking your food. Okay. So let's go through a typical day for you. Let's go through what time's breakfast at?
If I go to the gym, as you know, at 7 a.m., I get home at 8:30. Okay. I've started with my already starting to tweak it. I start with, you want to know what I eat? Yeah.
Done typical. It doesn't have to be like, lately, you can give me a couple examples, like Generella for breakfast, so if it's an egg or this or that, so it's okay.
Okay. So I do a protein drink.
Okay.
And then I try to incorporate for the LDLs, something with oatmeal. So I have like a little oatmeal bar that I make healthy.
That you make healthy.
I make healthy. And I try.
How do you make it healthy?
I use pumpkin and oats and peanut butter and walnuts. And
you make that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I do.
Is it like an overnight in the fridge thing, or how do you do that?
You bake it.
Oh, cool.
Because I can't use egg, it's a little gooier, but it works, for the oatmeal. Because I just don't always like eating plain old oatmeal.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I put blueberries on it and all that. So I try to be creative.
You got to with oatmeal. It gets boring.
And the one thing I've learned from you and my sister through all of this is more protein. Mm-hmm. So then I try to eat something with protein for lunch.
Okay.
And for dinner. I usually eat a lot of fish at dinner time.
So what time's lunch usually?
12 and 1.
Okay, so we'll do 12 and 1, and then usually lunch. Give me a typical lunch.
It varies.
Not golf lunch, typical lunch.
You don't want the golf lunch. Sometimes peanut butter, tuna.
Okay, tuna. Okay.
And I used to eat more fruit, but now I try to do a vegetable.
Okay, so a vegetable instead of fruit. Okay. Mm-hmm. How we look?
Oh, I know. Sometimes I have little snacks, and I know you have to measure everything because there's so many calories. So I have a little thing of peanuts or peanut mix.
So snack. Peanut mix.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or nut mix or whatever.
Nut mix. We'll just okay. Nut mix. There we go. Dinner.
Salmon.
Okay. What time's dinner? Let's say.
Say 6:30.
6:30. Okay. We got salmon.
Mm-hmm. And then some sort of vegetable. It can be anything: broccoli, asparagus, spinach, potatoes.
Okay.
Potato.
Okay. Excellent. So this would be like a typical day in the week for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Michael enjoys cooking. I know that you guys enjoy some really, good foods. You enjoy fine foods, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I want to go through. So this is like a typical day in the week. Let's backpedal a little bit here. So really good. Let's focus on the good things here that I see. Because first off, I see you get protein early in the morning, right? And you're spreading that protein throughout the day. You shared it earlier. The number one thing with protein is going to be getting enough, right?
Right.
So I say 1 gram per pound of body weight. I know your sister said a little less, right?
Well, actually, after discussing it more with her, she's with you on this.
Oh, is she? She's come around.
Yeah, she has.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Dietitian, yes.
And then we've got peanut butter, tuna. Tuna's great protein. Peanut butter has some good protein in it, right? Get a little bit more fat with the peanut butter.
Right. I don't do very much peanut butter.
Yeah. I used to love getting peanut butter sandwiches, and I was like, I think I need to cut this out because I started getting more and more peanut butter on there for me because I love it. But every now and then, so we're getting good protein, right? Getting that number in of protein, and then going back to spreading the protein out. You do a good job of, right? Because you have protein. If you have peanut mix, you're getting a little protein there. That's good. And then great protein at dinner, right? And it sounds like that's a good variety.
It is. If I'm a little short, a lot of us in our little bit older age are doing the collagen proteins.
Okay.
So sometimes I'll make a special little decaf coffee and put the chocolate.
Oh, nice.
Mocha. So I get a little more protein because It is very hard to keep that amount of protein.
It is, isn't it? It's so much harder than you'd think. You're like, oh, I got plenty of protein. I ate that piece of chicken. And then you look at it, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm way under, right? If that number's high, it's not what we're used to getting. So yeah.
It is. It's not what we're used to doing. And then I can't do eggs. So eggs are a really good source to do that. So.
Right? Chicken, broccoli, and then bodybuild other things. Eggs, right? You can do. What I see here is that we're focusing on the right things, right? Good amount of protein. It's spread out throughout the day. And we got a pretty good quality because the protein drink is going to be a whey base, right?
I can't do whey. So it's plant-based.
It's a plant-based.
It's a plant-based. And I don't remember all the ingredients, but.
So that's the big thing here for you. So being able to get that tuna and that salmon, right? These animal proteins in here is a big deal, right? So it goes just the grams of proteins, the biggest deal, right? The second and third thing are really just going to be timing, which you're doing a good job of timing. And then it's protein quality, right? And so protein quality comes down to amino acids. They're always going to measure it between like milk, eggs, whey, right? Those are like the gold standards because they cause the biggest spike in muscle protein synthesis. They do that because of their amino acid profile. They have a full range of amino acids. Mostly they found is that leucine is driving that spike in muscle protein synthesis, which is the signal telling your body, add tissue, add muscle, right? So when it goes back to that muscle building goal or keeping that tissue on, I know we've shared about this, but let's go over it again real quick, is that the reason you want to do that is it's the long game, right? Mm-hmm. Whether you want to lose weight, gain muscle, look more toned, right? Or get ripped, whatever it is, it's all about, or you live longer, live a healthier life. It's all about muscle. Right. And so the reason for weight loss is about muscle is because if you have more muscle, just like when we look at InBody and everybody's BMR, right? The more muscle you have, the more calories you burn without doing anything else. Right. Right. So when you're doing cardio and these other things, you're just burning calories when you do the cardio. So if you stop, right, you shared earlier, I got to keep doing that now. If you stop, you lose those calories a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Muscle, you don't. You get to do nothing. And you're like pulling a dividend out, right? Pulling out on that investment and just living off that. So going back to those three things, right? Protein amount, protein timing, protein quality. So for you, I think maybe one of the biggest places that we'd want to focus then is to go to our protein quality, right? And I
agree.
So how can we do that? That's the question, right? How can we do that?
You said that it was whey, eggs.
Whey, eggs, and dairy are usually like the gold standard they measure everything against because of the amino acid profile, right? Because of their leucine content, which is one of the amino acids.
And that's everything I've read is whey.
So yeah, and that's not what they're also, but that's also why I go back to, okay, the number one thing is the grams of protein. When it goes back to, when they look at it in the research, that's what it says, right? So that's why I say those other things are secondary and tertiary compared to that, because that's the most important. So if there was an area for protein for you, I'd say keep focusing on making sure you're hitting that number, right? Because it's going to be tough for you to get quality. And now let's talk a little bit about quality though. One of the things you can do with vegetarian proteins is get them to mix and match so they have a full amino acid profile, right? And so the two that I always bring up that I share with people that I think are really important are whole wheat pita and hummus. That becomes a complete protein. Okay, so that's a good thing to think about. And then, you still got to be careful there. Okay, and then you got brown rice and
rice. Okay.
Brown rice and beans. Rice and beans, whole wheat, pita, and hummus, right? And there's other ones. So I actually have a list that I'll get to you, actually.
That would be great.
That has complementary proteins on there that you can look at.
So when you said brown rice and beans, you mean to eat them together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, eat them together. And, I'm not sure if there's any more recent research on this, but if you had those amino acids kind of floating around in your system throughout the day, your body will be able to compile from those, right? It's just if you don't have enough of the essential amino acids, your body can't make those from the non-essential. So it's not like you have to like have it right then and there, but probably within the day, if you had that, I'm sure it's better, right? So let's think of like, ideally it would be for you to be able to eat eggs, but we can't do that. So let's think about, okay, how can we make it a little better? So giving you more information to be able to do that is probably the best option here, right?
Right.
Because you're already tracking, you're already knowledgeable on this stuff. So
yeah, and I do eat beans, but I didn't always understand the combination of the brown rice with the beans and so that would be great to know.
Yeah, so I'll get you that list over because I have that on my computer, so I'll email it to you.
That'd
Don't forget that. I think number one is making sure you're hitting that protein number. That's going to help you a lot. Another reason that you want to hit that protein number too is that your body is very averse to using that protein, those protein calories, for energy. Your body has to go through a different process to take those protein calories and use them like they would use carbs, right? Or sugars or fats, right? It has to go through a different process. And your body doesn't want to do that. Your body doesn't want to take your muscle out of your body. Your body doesn't want to take those protein calories and turn them into glucose or change them into those carbons they can use for energy production. That's a demanding process from your body, right? Your body does not want to do that. It's almost like until you get to your theoretical maximum of protein that you need for the day for building, rebuilding your tissues, it's almost like free calories, right? Okay. So it's kind of you got to think of it that way. Right? Like, oh, what if I go over by a gram of protein? Not really a big deal, right? You really want to get up to that number. So I think that's the biggest area of focus for you. Overall, calorie wise, I know you've been checking the scale, checking calories, and going through this. So how's that gone so far?
Not bad. I really don't do too badly. I don't usually go over my calories. Okay. And that's even with the glass or two of wine, depending on what the night is or whatever. And during the week, I do really well with keeping my calories where my app targets. And the app calculates your workouts and the calories. So you have more some days than others that you can eat. So I'm thinking it's around 1,500 calories. Okay,
so in general, about 1,500 calories a day is where you're at. Okay, and so how long have you been doing that? So let me write there.
At least a month, maybe 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay, so that's our X, right? You're at 1,500 calories. This is about what we're doing. That's your X. That's what you've done, right? The X variable. This is what you've done, right? For 1,500 calories, 6 weeks. About. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, in general. That goes back to the 80-20 rule, right? Doesn't need to be perfect.
Right.
I'm glad you shared that you're getting wine. Okay, that's good. So I know that that's something that you enjoy and that a lot of people enjoy. And I don't ever want to tell someone to cut something like that out, right? There may be a time that you have to cut it out or reduce it or get less, or, we talk about the 3 R's, right? Reduce, replace, restrict. Right. But, you got to live life. You got to enjoy life. And that's the key to, I think, longevity with this. That's the key that I found work for people so much better is being able to enjoy life. Plan it out. Make sure you're in control and you're always taking steps closer to your goals. But you got to have those pieces. So that's really good for sustainability. So this is what we're doing. Okay. And then, so this is our X. We'll write X here. Okay. Y is what you've gotten out of it. So over those 6 weeks with 1,500 calories, focusing on your protein, right? What have you been able to get out of it?
I lost 5 pounds.
5 pounds. All right. Good job. That's what I'm talking about. That's got to feel good.
It does.
Okay. 5 pounds.
But like you said, I think the next ones will be slower.
It can be, right? And so, is that something that you want to change?
I'd rather lose it a little faster, but I know sometimes being patient and gradually changing your mindset and doing everything that you can stick with later is important too.
Sustainability is number one, right? Exercise is the long game. The things we actually get out of it are the long game, right? I want to be able to conquer anything forever. I don't want to be able to conquer anything at this one given point in time, right? So it's the long game. So thinking about that's a very wise way to think about it, right? If you did want it to happen faster, what do you think you'd have to do?
Do the energy outside. There. Do just more of that. Okay.
So let's go through that real quick. Okay. So if you did focus on the energy out equation, right? This is really good energy out, right? You're already meeting and probably exceeding the exercise standards for what you should do based on what the federal government says you should do, right? Right. Which I think is a little low, but you're meeting and exceeding that. Okay. Did you know only, I think it's 24% of the population does that? Does the minimum? Does what the minimum that it should be required of you? 24%. So you're beating 76% of people there. That's how I kind of view that. You're beating at least 76% of people in the United States.
Kind of surprising. And you'd think that more people would want to work on their health, but
they want to. They just don't.
And doing it's the other, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of ambivalence there, right? They want to, they just don't want to do it. Okay. So not doing what you're doing. So you got a good energy out. How would you do that? If you wanted to focus on energy out, what would you do?
I've already started this a little bit, but when I do my hike, I'm making it longer hike.
Okay.
Before it was just getting out the door because I can be kind of lazy, like drink the coffee on the patio in the nice weather.
There you go.
I'm just adding a mile the other day. So
nice. There we go.
Doing those kinds of things.
Okay. So increasing distance, increasing the time you're actually doing these things. Okay, good. So if you did want to focus more on that, we need to make this finite, right? Because if you're going to accomplish this, we need to make it finite. How could you hold yourself accountable to that? Logging
it.
Okay.
I guess I would use my log on my.
There you go. Great thinking.
Making myself do it.
That's the tough part, right? Making yourself do it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the legwork is done here because you're able to connect back to your why, right? So thinking about your why constantly will help you, right? And as we kind of went through earlier, that when you think about it, your mindset starts to change. Your mind starts to change into what you're able to do, right? And what you want to do. So that's good. That's kind of the groundwork's laid there, which is really good for you. If we were to go back to that watch and say, okay, weekly, right? You have an exercise goal on there, right?
Yes. I
daily and weekly, it'll show you, right?
Right.
Monthly and yearly, I think.
Yeah. It logs everything. And I increased my goals a few weeks ago.
Okay. So you increased your goals a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's a step that you'd be willing to take to put that and to increase that energy out. So to increase the energy out, you could say, okay, what were your goals that you increased to?
I went from 300 to 500 calories a day.
Okay.
And 30 minutes to 45 minutes of exercise.
Wow. Okay. So that's an appreciable increase, right? So that's already.
Which is kind of easy because I already do 3 hours with you a week.
Well, I'll tell you what.
So the average is.
I tell everyone this, even if it's not with me, the best thing you can do in life is get an expert to tell you what to do, right? And that's getting a coach, getting someone to hold you accountable, right? Because you see how much easier it is and how
it is.
It takes away so many barriers and difficulties and struggles that people have with a learning curve and just sticking with it. Man, it's
the best thing I've ever done is to get a trainer.
Yes, did you get that? The best thing you've ever done is to get a trainer. I love it.
It is. It's the best thing for everything.
Better from your mouth than mine. Let me tell you. So
I've tried to talk a lot of my friends into getting trainers, but
get someone. Even if it's not me, get someone. Telling you. I mean, it sounds like your energy out equation is pretty solid. I mean, if you want to do more there, I wouldn't discourage it. I love, training and doing fun stuff. There's only so much your body can do for a couple of reasons, right? This is why I just caution over here, right? Your body can only recover from so much. And your body's also really good at pulling calories out of other things that you do. So you might, let's say, increase your hike by 15 minutes, right? And that increases your calorie burn. Mm-hmm. But your body's going to go, okay, we're burning too many calories and we're on a caloric deficit here. We need to stop using energy in other places, right? I've seen it many times, and you'll get less weight loss because of that. Your body's just doing less and less. So you want to make sure that you don't signal your body too greatly that you are in a caloric deficit or getting too much energy expenditure for the calories you're taking in, because that'll result in a plateau or just a time where your body's like, I'm tired, I don't want to do anything, right? And it'll limit your recovery, injury rates go up, things like that. So just a little bit of caution there.
Okay.
That being said, so it's not, I think it's a great thing that you're doing that. A good thing about where you're at is you can say, I could do a little bit more and see if I get a little bit more, right? See if that 5 pounds continues. That's 5 pounds over 6 weeks. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I was pretty
overall. Because you had a little plateau there in a little bit, right?
Yeah, and I have now. It's kind of not.
And that's normal. It's normal to see those plateaus. I see those all the time where it could be a week and a half, 2 weeks where people won't move. They're doing the same things and they won't move. Mm-hmm. And so that's a really tough place to be sometimes. It sounds like you weathered the storm really well of like, oh man, like I haven't moved, what's going on, Am I doing something, so it's tough. People fall off the wagon during those times. So
I think my biggest thing though is increasing that protein, like you said.
All right.
That's the thing I've been monitoring after speaking with you and my sister and reading up on things. I think that I do believe that that's a big help.
Sounds like that's been the game changer. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like for the energy inside of the equation, I think going forward, your focus would be continue what you're doing, but hitting that protein number, thinking a little bit more about protein quality and being able to get that information to you. That's really what it is, right? Mm-hmm. So protein number, getting that information to you about protein quality with vegetarian sources, and then just seeing what you can do here, right? Maintaining even.
Right, maintaining. When it gets hot, it's harder to do some of those things.
Goodness, yeah. Even at 9 the other day on a hike, it was like, I could feel, like, oh no, here comes the Arizona summer.
Yeah.
Any other questions that you have or anything else that you'd want to go over in further detail? Anything I could do better?
I think we've covered a lot of things. I mean, we've talked previously, and then this really has gone more in depth and helped answer some of my questions I already had.
Oh, that's awesome. Wonderful.
Yes,
Wonderful.
very good.
What can I do to hold you more accountable or hold you accountable to this?
You do pretty well with that already because I go 3 days a week and we chat. It's just the reminder, like you really do need to keep doing it.
Okay.
I know what I need to do.
So a reminder, I can say, how's it going this week with those things we talked about, Diana?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, it sounds like we got a game plan of the things we're going to focus on and how I can help hold you accountable.
Yeah. I think the list with the proteins will be great too.
Don't let me forget that.
I'll make sure you send it to me.
All right. All right. Well, great job, Diana. Thanks so much for doing this and coming in. This is excellent.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me do this.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I did. I liked it a lot. It really helped clarify things.
Fantastic. Good.
So if you want to see real results from real people, go check out our client testimonials on YouTube. If you're interested in seeing more information about what you can do daily to help you get closer to your goals, follow us on socials. The links are in the description. If you'd like to learn more about the challenge, come to our website at justmovelife.com. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always on to help.